Good morning and welcome to the May 10th session. Before we start, we open with a prayer. And once again today we have Pastor David Tennant from the Owensville United Methodist Church.
Thank you very much. Early Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Kind of looks like summer church. Fewer people, but everybody's in the same pew. That's good. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for such a lovely day and already probably blessing us in ways that we don't even know. Father, as mentioned in Luke, how much you long to, particularly as we come into Mother's Day weekend, you long as a hen to grab her chicks and to bring them close under the wings. Father, you know we live in difficult times, trying times, and yet again, that mothering spirit, you want to draw us close to you, protection, provisions, everything. Father, I pray that this day, this hour, in this meeting, the people you have charged to do this business, that they too would do what you are calling them to do. You would give them discernment, courage, and again, Father, that each one of us, as we leave here, or even if we're doing our work here, would do what you would want us to do, and that we would know that you are there and are drawing us to you. Amen.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Painter, you want to lead us in the pledge?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is the approval of the regular session minutes of May 8, 2023. Motion to approve. Sorry. Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. And this morning we have a proclamation in honor of Mental Health Month. And Leanne? Dr. Watson, right?
It is.
Good morning. That's what we called her at Clermont when we went together. Come on up. So we have a proclamation I'd like to read for you, and it states, whereas organizations across the country observe Mental Health Month every May to raise awareness and understanding of mental health issues, and whereas this year's theme is Look Around, Look Within, which encourages us to consider every part of our environment and its effect on our mental health and well-being, and whereas mental illnesses are real, prevalent in our nation, and half of us will have a mental health diagnosis at some point in our lives, and whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives and should feel comfortable in seeking help and support to manage these times, and whereas early diagnosis and treatment of mental health problems can help children reach their full potential, assure young adults attain academic, employment, and social success, and allow adults to live full and productive lives in their community, and whereas community-based services that respond to youth, adult, and family needs are cost-effective and beneficial to the community, leading to positive outcomes and saving lives and dollars. And whereas it is important that we recognize that preventing mental health problems and treating mental illness is necessary to maintain a healthy community where all of its residents can thrive. Help is available 24/7 through the Clermont and Brown County hotline at 513-528-7283. So now, therefore, it be proclaimed that the Clermont County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim that the month of May 2023 is Mental Health Month in Clermont County, Ohio. And it is signed by all three commissioners, Commissioner David Painter, Commissioner Corcoran, and myself, Bonnie Batchelor, and we present this to you today, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
like her. She's shorter than me.
Well,
Leanne,
she's
you
got
wanna-
heels on too.
No, you didn't have to point that out.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're
We
welcome.
appreciate this. I just want to say a few words about the importance of mental health. May is a good time for us to remember how important mental health really is to our well-being. Sometimes we forget and only focus on physical health, and really mental health and physical health together is what creates well-being. So as the proclamation said, 1 in 5 people in their lifetime in the U.S. will have some type of mental health concern. Only 45% of people, though, actually seek help for that. So we just want to remember or remind our residents. One of our goals is the Mental Health and Recovery Board is to make sure that our residents know about the available resources and also the signs and symptoms of a possible mental health concern. So help is available regardless of the ability to pay or the presence of insurance through our contract agencies with the board. And help is always available 24/7 through our crisis hotline, which is a 528-SAVE, 7283. Then I'd like to turn it over to Marcy Keith, who's new to the board. She's been there about 3 months at this point. She's our community engagement manager, and I'd like her to tell you a little bit about an event that we've got planned for Total Wellness.
So to go right along with the theme of total well-being, the Mental Health Board is hosting a total well-being event in partnership with Clermont County Public Health, West Clermont High School, and Cincinnati Children's Hospital. We are looking at mental health in that full capacity of physical health, spiritual health, and mental health, and how we really are connected mind and body. So I encourage everybody, May 20th, to come out. You can come out and join the West Clermont Fun Run and get started physically before your day. And then all of our vendors and will be present from 11 to 2. And it really is a full spectrum. We are have traditional partners for services, as well as local business owners that have a special niche in the field of wellness. So come out and see what Clermont County has to offer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So we have, you know that, Lee. And just to warn you, you know, it was always 3. He's kind of up to 4.
Yeah, what is that?
Greg's getting up there.
Oh, Greg made him do it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody settled?
Now we are.
Now we're.
1. 2. Stop. 3. 5. 10. Maybe a good one in there.
There's something wrong with Claire.
Her counting's off.
You know, they did say 1 in 5.
Marcy, what was the date?
Yes, they did.
20th? And where's that event going to start at? Got it.
Right on Close Pike and then right next to the track.
Okay.
You know, she said 5%.
What?
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on, item D is public participation. I do not see anyone. Item E is consent agenda. Board, we've had this in time to review. Do I have a motion to approve as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item F is non-consent. And the first item is the recommendation that the Board of County Commissioners adopt a resolution number 048-23 resolving to approve payment to vendors in the total amount of $2,488,420.24 as set forth in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated May 10th, 23, BCC directed prepaid invoices or reports and or the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on May 8th, 2023, further authorizing the county auditor to issue warrants for same pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Item 4.
Before we move on to item 4, just a second. Hey, you're fine, Leanne. Come on up. Come on up. I just wanted to drop back to the consent agenda.
Oh,
Just
okay.
if you take a look at item number 1 there, we have an employee, Joshua Klosser,
Yeah. Yes.
CLOSSER, who is actually on this consent agenda because he's been called to active duty.
Yes.
So I thought we might want to just recognize
that
that for a
out.
second. You bet
Thank
that,
him for his service.
you know, one of our own right here in WRD and maintenance is, you know, serving in the military, and that, you know, what an honorable thing to do. And we want to make sure that this board recognizes him and his commitment to this country. You
Great.
bet.
Yeah. Thank you. Go for it.
Okay. It's my first time to do this, so I wasn't sure. So I have a recommendation to reappoint Patty Lawrence to serve on the Clermont County Alcohol, Drug Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board for the term June 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2027, which is her second term, pursuant to Section 34002 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 4. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thanks, Leanne.
Wonderful.
Good
Thank
seeing
you.
you today.
Thank you.
Item number 5. Good morning.
Item number 5 is a recommendation to execute an agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and Johnson Controls for a new fire alarm system for the Clermont County Jail in the amount of $186,591, effective for 180 days upon company's receipt of signed agreement in compliance with the terms and conditions set and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 5. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank
Item number 6. Good morning, Lyle.
Item 6 is a recommendation to accept the following grant of permanent sewer easement with rights of reentry for repair and replacement that will be granted and conveyed to Clermont County by the grantor as outlined below for utility purposes. This is for project number 6402-60194 for the White Oak Lift Station relocation and upgrade project located in Pierce Township, and to authorize the county auditor to remit payment as compensation for the permanent easement and right-of-way. And the grantor is Todd Ham. This is the final easement for that project, so we should be able to get it out to bid here in the next couple months.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 6. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Item 7 is a recommendation to award the bid and execute the contract for project number 6401-60176 relative to the Summit Elevated Tank Evaluation, Rehabilitation, and Coatings Application Project located in Batavia Township pursuant to the specifications to D&M Painting Corporation out of Washington, Pennsylvania, for the lowest and best bid received on March 16th, 2023, for a total amount not to exceed $893,640 in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order. So their bid was about 80% of our engineer's estimate. The last time that tank was painted was 1995, so it's due to be painted. It'll be the new painting scheme that was approved last year. So this will be our third tank that we're painting this year.
Thanks, Lyle. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 7. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran. Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thanks, Lyle. Number 8.
Board, I'd request that we move this to the end of the agenda. Still working on some last minute details on it.
Okay. We don't have to vote on that, do we? Okay.
Pick it back up at the end, and if
Okay.
we're not ready to present it, then we'll table it.
Okay. Item number 9.
Number 9, recommendation to adopt a commercial driver's license program policy, setting forth policy for eligible county employees to receive CDL training with initial one-time cost being paid by the board with a repayment obligation established to include a release of any obligation of repayment after 4 years of employment with the Board of County Commissioners following completion of the CDL training, which is attached thereto and made a part thereof effective upon approval and further to authorize Human Resources Department to update the appropriate internet links and appendices accordingly. So board, this is a CDL policy. Federal government changed the way CDLs are issued last year, and it's made it more difficult to get the CDL. So this is a policy establishing how we're going to assist employees in getting that CDL. There is a clawback provision should they not fulfill their obligation with us. They are to pay us back for the time and effort we put in for them getting their CDL. And this Water Resources is a big user of this, as well as some other departments. So this is important that we get this done with the change in federal law.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Board, we've had the reading and explanation of number 9. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
Roll call?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Number 10?
Number 10, resolution authorize the clerk of the board to place a public notice in the on Thursday, May 18th, 2023, to establish the date, time, and location pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 303.58, for a public meeting to consider requests submitted by resolution from various townships to declare the totality of the unincorporated portion of those townships as a restricted area for construction of economically significant wind farms, large wind farms, and large solar facilities. The public meeting will be held during regular session on Wednesday, June 21st, 2023 at 10 a.m. local time, right here in this room. So, board, as you're aware, Senate Bill 52 is now a reality, and Senate Bill 52 changed solar farms. As you know, our planning department went out and talked to a lot of townships, kind of filled them in on what the ORC allows for, and we've had several townships that have submitted requests to restrict their townships from large solar farms. So we will have that discussion on June 21st. And then at that time, the resolution will be presented for you to restrict those. And it's your pleasure what the board does. They do have the final say in those particular issues. So this just sets the notice in the paper, which we are required to do. And then we'll also be sending this to the various school districts, posting it in the libraries, and township trustees will receive notice of this as well. And again, these are actions that have been requested of the board by the various townships. This is not initiated by the county.
Greg, do you know how many townships have submitted?
We have 4,
6.
6 now.
6? Okay.
So,
Good.
yeah,
One pulled. We had 7, right? And 1 pulled back.
I
Yes,
believe
we did.
Pierce
Yeah,
pulled
right.
theirs back. Yes.
They wanted
And
to just-
Pierce has a meeting today. They're going to talk about it. So we may have it before.
Yeah. So whatever we have by Thursday when the notice is in the paper, that's the map we will publish.
Okay.
So if Pierce gets theirs in, then it will be included. If not, then the process will have to continue again at another time. But this is new territory. Solar is a new thing that's hitting this area. So this is something that's out of the ordinary for us. So we'll just follow the Senate Bill 52 guidelines.
Is just part of the path forward is after this public meeting, is the path forward to have a separate resolution for each township? Is that?
In discussion with the prosecutor's office, the way the code reads it is one resolution for the entire county. And then should it change, the board, I believe, has the right to modify that resolution following the same procedure. The code is not exactly clear on that process. So the prosecutor is doing some research on that for how we go forward after the initial.
Yeah, I would think, I mean, I would just suggest them taking a really hard look at that so that if one particular township came in, keep in mind, there's a provision in that bill for you to be able to unrestrict
Yes.
a particular area in your project. And just to talk about a specific, if there was a need to redirect power generation at one of those shutdown sites and that township came in and said, well, that's a perfect place for that. We'd like to unrestrict it. You don't want to have to modify, resolution that affects all of those
Everybody,
townships.
yeah.
If you do it by separate resolution, you'd only have to go back to that one, if that would be the
Just
case.
clarify that it was just part of that.
Yeah. I would just think that would, if that can be accommodated, I think that would be a much better path forward than it would be just one resolution.
So again, this just authorizes the clerk to put the notice in the paper, and then we'll have a lot more research done by the time we get to the public hearing. We'll have the full slate of information for you guys to decide if you want to make that decision or not.
Thank
So
you.
we've had the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to item G, additions to the agenda. We have two.
Yes, Board, we have two for your consideration. The first one is a request to enter executive session, 121G1. The second request is an add-on from the county recorder to acknowledge the receipt of proposal to reserve funds from the recording fees and establish utilization of those funds. So if I could have a motion to add both of those.
You want them separately or together?
Separate probably is
Okay,
best, and
the
we'll
first one, we want to do it for the
recorder.
recorder. Can I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Betchler.
Yes. And the second one is to go in, I guess we need a motion to add going into executive session. Can I have a motion to add that to the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Betchler.
Yes. Want to do the county recorder
Right, we'll do the
first?
first one with the county recorder. It's a recommendation to acknowledge the receipt of the proposal of Deborah Klepper, County Recorder, dated May 1st, 2023, and officially received by the Board of County Commissioners on May 4th, 2023, relative to the request reserve funds for the acquisition and maintenance of imaging and or other technical equipment and contract services for calendar years 2024 through 2028, and further to establish the date of Wednesday, May 24th, 2023 at 1 p.m. during regular session of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners to meet with the county recorder for this review pursuant to section 317.321 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Okay. Board, you've heard this reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Betchler.
Yes. And the next add-on is to go into executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee or more public employees. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Betchler.
Yes.
I'll double do it.
Double duty.
You're going to double
Double
do?
Double.
We'll do it.
We will be back after executive session.
We'll do it afterwards.
We have returned from executive session where we went in for Section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment and compensation of a public employee or more public employees. No decisions or actions were taken. At this time,
I believe.
Gail, you have,
I have something, yes. On May 24th, 2023, right now we have session at 10 o'clock. And I would like to see if we could change the time of session for that day till a time that you desired, maybe 1 o'clock. You have an event happening at 10 o'clock, so we have to move things around a little.
is 1 o'clock okay with Commissioner Painter, Commissioner Corcoran?
Okay, all right.
We don't need a motion, we just do it,
We
Greg.
can make a motion.
You
Make a
can.
motion to change it.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to change.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Board.
That way we can go over and participate. So at this time, can I request a 15-minute recess?
Absolutely.
Could I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Roll call, Gail.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. We'll be back about, what, 5 after?
5 after.
Yep.
11:05.
Okay, we have returned from recess, and at this time, we'll move on to item H, county staff elected official discussion.
The only thing, board, you had talked about this power initiative applications letter support. My understanding is the application's already been filed, so it's the board's pleasure to, if you would like to sign this letter, but it's not required. The application already has the support it needs from the various organizations. So it's the board's pleasure if you would like to sign this or not, but the application's already been submitted.
The board's feeling.
Yeah, we don't, the board doesn't need to.
Okay.
It's already, it has what it needs to move forward. So
Okay.
that's it for staff and elected officials.
Member comments?
Was Susan Walther going to be on here?
That has been delayed
Okay.
till
Yeah.
another meeting. She wanted to change up some of the presentation based on new information.
Do it later, right?
Correct.
Then we'll move on to member comments. Anyone?
Just to touch base, you've probably gotten information from the state that SJR2, that 60% amendment that's been bounced back and forth to change the signatures that you need and the amount of percentage you need on a vote on a Ohio constitutional amendment. One of the things that has happened in session there is they removed that $20 million requirement on there and changed the amendment to that if they actually hold a special election, you're going to have to fund that special election. And then they say they're going to come back with another amendment that will allow you to be reimbursed. So in the last estimate that I had for a special election was for an August 2nd special election. That was back then. And it was here in the county, $270,989.08 is what that cost. But if that does come to fruition, we're just going to have to make sure that Mary understands that, we're going to have to appropriate those funds for a special election. They tried to take away the requirement for a special election, but the House floor says they're going to amend it and put that special election in. So, we better be prepared that,
Yeah,
we may need
it may
to
be possible. But we
create
have to-
$300,000 for it.
But we'll work with the office management budget just to get that set up in case it's necessary.
In case, yeah.
Where the funds can come from.
And-
So we'll have Mary start working on that.
And keep in mind, it was just a short time ago that they passed an amendment not to ever have any more August elections because of the low voter turnout. And so here we're doing exactly the opposite, and making a legislative action to add one back. So, okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
The only thing I like to bring up today, I think it's time that we've been discussing this off and on and have looked into, our administrator and assistant administrator have looked into developing a master plan with outside consultants, with professionals who really understand how to come together and give us an exact study of what our future needs are and what plus our current needs are. And that would include all buildings and all facilities that would house any of our personnel, equipment, et cetera. And at this time, I'd like to ask for an action plan by this board that, since we operate as a board in whole and not individual members, to make statements or to make promises to different departments of what we can do. I'd like the board to take an action plan and going out and hiring that master planner, that consultant, that professional consultant that can come into this county and give us an entire review of all of our buildings, our facilities, what our future needs assessments would be, and an accurate study. So we have an analysis of every single thing that we're going to need. And that plan could take us through 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I think a 20 mark, as I had discussed with Mr. Eigel, that 20-year mark I think is really in the future. But I think I cannot emphasize enough that to all departments that we operate as a board here and not individual members saying that we are asking or requesting for things. So I'm asking for an action plan to be set on this with the entire board today.
No, I think that makes perfect sense.
I was going to say.
It's something that's been needed for a long time. We have attacked
building needs and facilities needs and separate elected officials needs all on a spot basis. And there's been discussion for a long time now about having a master plan and taking a look at whether we need to renovate this building or tear down the Heritage Center. And we all know that the Board of Elections has asked for additional areas. The prosecutor has asked for additional facilities to be able to facilitate his. Obviously, juvenile court, we're in the middle of that. The highway facility, and I'm in total agreement with that. That's exactly what needs to be done.
I agree with you too. In the short time I've been here, I know I get phone calls. I'm sure, Mr. Painter, you do.
I do.
Claire, I'm sure you do. Excuse me, commissioners. But instead of trying to call individual commissioners, it could go to someone who is
It should go-
making the study, and we're not being put in the middle of all of this. As you stated, there's hardly a department here that doesn't think that they need more space or, so if we did this, at least then we would have an individual concept of what each and every department truly needs and where it would go. So,
The only other thing that I would touch on here is that, we are a board, but we are separate elected officials and we have anonymity, and we don't have to be hooked at the hip on every decision. We can proceed as we would expect in our own manners, and there is no requirement for separate elected officials to be in concert, walking hand in hand on every issue.
I'm not holding your hand.
Right, I know.
I believe
I
in
know.
I believe in unity of a board, though, and I believe that it puts people who are in different departments pulling one against the other, whatever, if it were to come down on basic decisions. That's what we have an administrator. It's what we have an assistant administrator for, that those flows go through them, and then it comes to the board. And I think unified you stand, instead of saying, and we can disagree on what we say, we're going to fund this, we're going to fund that. I think Mr. Eigel has a great hold on what we have in finances and where we can get money to help pay for this, instead of somebody saying, don't spend so much on a consultant. But I think we have some great terms to be able to do that at this time. And I still believe in the unity, even though we are separate entities. I still believe that united as a group, that's how you get everybody together to say, this is where we're going to go in the future, and not people pulling everybody apart and making individual comments on, oh, I can do this for you, or I'll try and do that. And I think it puts us in a bad place sometimes when we're asked to do that. So at this point, I would ask for a motion, Madam President, to put this on the floor at this time. I'd like to add the motion that we direct our administrator to hire professional consultants to get us together with a 5-year master plan and develop it.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay. Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, that's a motion to add. Now, do we need to put the motion on the
Yes.
floor? Yes. You're looking at me like, don't.
What's the motion?
The motion would be for us to go out and hire a consultant to be able to put together this entire master plan and do all the feasible.
Okay.
A master
Yeah.
facilities plan.
What's
Right,
the,
yes.
what's the time frame? Does the board want that to commence ASAP?
It's probably going to you start right away, and it's probably going to take a year to get all this together.
23,
I'm sure.
24.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just quick factoids, I guess. They
Yes.
last did one in the early 2000s, and it was $76,000.
Right.
Correct.
So obviously it's.
And we believe maybe that tribal grant that we have 100,000 of can be utilized to
That's
to help
correct.
with
Yeah,
that.
we believe, and there's also some energy efficiency grants that may be able to be.
Might be able to add in there with it.
Just as the board knows, but this board pays cash, right? So we have no debt as a county from the Board of County Commissioners. So we would certainly look at funding this for this as well as part of that plan, is my assumption, correct? You just don't want a plan that says build this. We want to wrap the finances into it as well, I would
Right.
assume. Okay.
And we want some stages of that plan where, maybe 30, 60, and 100%, where you get to see what the consultant is thinking about,
Not
I'm
wait
sure the
till the
professional-
right? Not
final.
wait until the end and you go, oh, hey,
I'm
we
sure
can't
they'll be
use
able to
that.
deliver it.
But at least this way, if a department wants to know where do we stand, we'll be able to give them something instead of saying it's in the works,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
So we'll have an affirmative way to respond to them.
So did we clarify that motion then? And then
Got it.
So
We
did,
got that.
we made a
We have
motion
that.
to add this? Are we making the motion?
We made a motion to add it.
Okay.
Now, I think you
The
just
motion to
made the
act on it.
motion to act.
Commissioner Corcoran's made a motion for a comprehensive, facilities use and
Study, yeah.
energy efficiency
You got it.
consultation and hiring a consultant and funding that effort.
So are we going to say direct administration to hire a consultant for a master plan?
Mhm.
Would that be best?
Yep.
Okay.
Should it be building plan?
Inclusive of all facilities and housing. of
All
Yeah,
facilities.
Facilities plan, correct.
All facilities and use.
All right.
So you seconded?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. Thanks, Claire, for bringing that up.
You bet.
I think that'll answer a lot of questions, knowing that we're in the process of doing this by a lot of departments.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else?
Board, I'd like to potentially revisit item number 9. Unfortunately, it's close, but it's
Item 8.
item number, I'm sorry, item number 8. Yes, item number 8. However, I would like to, this is an issue we have to address today, but I want to be cognizant of the board's time. Is there any schedule conflicts if we recess for a half hour while we complete our tasks, or do shorter, or we're very close on this issue? It's an important issue we have to deal with today.
No conflict here.
You think they'll be done?
Yeah, I hope so. I
2:00. 2:00. I've got to come.
at 2:00,
At 2:00.
but you're good for the next half hour or so?
Yep.
Could we recess until potentially noon?
Mhm.
And then reconvene at noon, and then we'll make some decisions from there. I normally wouldn't do this, but we have, this is an issue we have to work through today, because it has to get done today, so.
Okay.
Do it.
So we need to recess until 12 noon?
Yes.
Okay,
You like a motion on that?
I
or-
would.
Okay.
Second.
Make the motion.
Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes. We'll be back again.
There you go.
We have returned from recess. At this time, Mr. Bickford?
Yes, I would like to go back to item number 8 on our agenda. Ms. Levacy is here to present that item.
Okay, good afternoon, board. Thank you for your patience and flexibility in the recess. You're ready. Okay, item number 8 is the recommendation to accept the proposal for office machines maintenance for Clermont County, submitted on April 20th, 2023 by Millennium Business Systems, a flex technology group company. They're located in Cincinnati, and to authorize the execution of the contract for the maintenance, repair, and replacement of office machines for Clermont County Department offices by Millennium Business Systems in accordance with the terms, conditions, goals, criteria, and specifications as outlined in the request for proposals at the cost per copy rate of 0.0125 cents for black and white and 0.0477 cents for color, effective for the period of 5/15/23 through 5/14/2026, with the option of 2 12-month renewal periods. One clarification. So this rate has increased. We've had Millennium for 10 years. They have been awarded our proposal 2 times prior to this one. So we have had a rate that hasn't moved for 5 years. So this does represent about a 14% increase. However, this rate will also last through the term of the contract. So.
Okay. So having heard all of this, do I have a motion to approve item number 8?
So moved.
I was second.
Any discussion? Roll call, Gail?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
And thank you to Tom for burning the, Mr. Eichel burned the midnight oil. All of you did on this one.
Group effort. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you. Okay, anything else at this time? Then I would accept the motion to adjourn before they want to go in recess again.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes, thank you.